The Observer-class vessel Trakel hovered silently in Earth's upper orbit, cloaked in electromagnetic distortion fields that rendered it invisible to human detection systems. Inside the command deck, Commander Zyro stood motionless, her 6 arms folded across her torso, her luminous green eyes fixed on the central view screen. Below them, the planet boiled with conflict. Cities erupted in fire. Metallic birds, jets, drones, missiles screamed through the atmosphere, carving destruction across entire landscapes. Zyro's mouth parts moved slightly as she whispered in the telepathic tone of her species. "They are devouring themselves." Beside her, Analyst Kreb monitored a series of data streams, each one pulsing with translated audio and video captured from the planet's surface. The humans had named the conflict the Final War, a name that suggested they knew this might be their undoing. Kreb's ocular membranes constricted as he tracked a salvo of nuclear missiles arcing toward opposing territories. Eastern Confederation has retaliated. Impact in 64 seconds. Zyro felt a wave of cold shame pass through her neural cortex. The Nreth had observed hundreds of developing species over millennia, but humans were something altogether different, capable of brilliant innovation and art, yet always dragging themselves back toward the abyss of violence. "They feel so much," she said aloud, "and still they choose this." Young Xenolinguist Sori, positioned in a quiet rear alcove, turned from her console. "Not all of them. Look." She gestured toward a secondary screen showing footage from a decimated urban landscape. Amidst the smoke and ruin, a soldier pulled a crying child from the rubble. He handed her off to a nurse with bloodied hands, then returned to lift another, though his own leg was shattered. "They still resist their own darkness," Sori said. "They love. They protect. Even now." Krev made a dismissive click. "Too few. Their governments speak of survival, but act with vengeance. Their science creates miracles, then turns them into weapons. Compassion exists only in fragments." Zyro said nothing, but her mind echoed with ancient memories of a species from the distant cubular system that had torn itself apart in a similar spiral, refusing intervention until it was too late. She would not allow the same to happen here. An alert flared across the command deck. Multiple nuclear warheads detonated in rapid succession. Cities blinked out like lights crushed beneath a boot. The screen showed searing white, followed by the slow, rolling clouds of doom, billowing mushrooms of ash and fire. Zyro turned away. Temporal recorders, full capture. Log timestamp. This moment must be remembered. "Another extinction event," Krev said, his voice dulled. "We have witnessed 5 on this planet alone. This one may end them entirely." Sori spoke again, softer this time. "Or change them forever." The chamber was still. Far below, in the ruins of what was once the thriving metropolis of Darsk, 2 human soldiers scrambled through broken concrete. Sergeant Lena Voss limped badly, her side torn open from shrapnel, but her grip remained tight on the hand of Private Miguel Santos, who half-dragged her toward a half-collapsed tunnel mouth. "Radiation spreading," Miguel said. "We can't stay exposed." Lena coughed blood and managed to grin. Wouldn't want to miss the end of the world. He ignored the gallows humor. They had lost contact with command, lost most of their squad, lost direction, but they had not yet lost each other. That mattered more than orders now. A strange shimmer passed over the scorched sky. Miguel looked up, thinking he'd seen a ripple like heat waves. But there was no heat, just the cold reality of fallout drifting over a ruined land. In orbit, Zyro turned to the assembly. "They are not blind to their fate," she said. "They feel terror, regret, but also love. Still, we must decide, do we intervene or not?" Krev's argument came swiftly. Intervention violates the core protocols. They are pre-contact. This level of interference could reshape their evolution, possibly destabilize more than it saves. Sori countered. "And if we wait, they may not survive to evolve at all. Their final war will become their final breath." The assembly deliberated, each member sending pulses of logic and emotion through the neural net that bound the vessel's decision system. Zyro spoke again. Not direct interference. A signal, a warning, a mirror to show them what they're becoming, and what they could still choose to be. After long pulses of silence, Consensus was achieved. The message was encoded in all Earth frequencies, broadcast across radio, satellite, and visual bands simultaneously. A simple, profound message. You are not alone. We see your pain. We see your strength. Choose peace. The stars are watching, and we are listening. Below, chaos paused. In bunkers and shelters, in war rooms and refugee camps, humans heard the voice, not in language, but in understanding. Some panicked. Others fell to their knees. Some fired at the sky. But most just listened. In the following days, the world stood on the edge. A massive standoff unfolded between two of the remaining global powers, each waiting for the other to blink, each finger trembling over their last arsenals. Then, inexplicably, miraculously, both sides powered down. In the stunned silence that followed, a new kind of conversation began. Not about domination, about survival, about repair. There were no instant miracles. Cities remained ruined. Water was poisoned. Crops withered. Millions had died, but survivors gathered. Engineers shared filtration designs across former enemy lines. Medics formed global response teams. Soldiers disarmed their mines and laid new roads. And in homes and camps across the globe, children stared at the stars and asked about the ones who had spoken to them. A generation grew up under that message. 2 decades passed. On board the now distant Trakel, still cloaked at the far edge of the solar system, Zyra watched Earth slowly stitch itself together. Large urban centers had not been rebuilt. Instead, green cities rose, blending nature with structure powered by sun and wind. The old flags were gone. A world council formed, slow and flawed but real. They had scars, but they were walking forward. Sori leaned beside Zyro. You were right. The signal changed them. Zyro nodded once. They were ready to listen. At the edge of their own destruction, they chose to become more than what they were. Will they ever reach the stars? Zyro didn't answer at first. She simply watched the screen, which now displayed a small orbital station, built from salvaged debris in peaceful hands. It was crude by galactic standards, but it reached toward the sky. They already have, she said.